The Arabian Peninsula begins to wither into desert. Tribes are forced to march north in search of survival. The ground cracks open under the burning sun. Nature itself abandons them. Caravans of camels and donkeys move slowly across the dunes, burdened with clay jars and bundles. Children cry from thirst, elders stumble. But the march does not stop. On the horizon lies Mesopotamia, the cradle of cities, rivers, and gods. The tribes arrive at the Tigris River, their new lifeline. Water glistens like salvation. Here, they plant seeds, dig canals, and tame the land. The first breath of Assyria begins. From simple huts, villages rise. Smoke from hearths curls above the riverbank. They learn from the Sumerians, writing, clay tablets, and the wisdom of irrigation. Ashur is built not only a city, but the heart of a people. Merchants guide caravans into the marketplace. Copper, tin, and stones fill their stalls. In the chaos of barter, Assyrian voices rise above the din of foreign tongues. Children press clay tablets, carving cuneiform under the guidance of Sumerian teachers. Farmers bend their backs along the canals. Water flows into fertile fields. Stone warehouses rise above the river. The city grows, its markets alive with trade. Priests carry the golden emblem of Ashur through the streets. Faith and unity shine in torchlight. The winged sun disk gleams against stone. Ashur is more than a god, he is destiny. In chambers of stone, elders gather. Debate turns to law, and law to order. Centuries later, a modern historian walks among these ruins, his voice carrying across time. At dusk, lamps glow in Ashur's streets. Families share bread. Merchants close their stalls. Caravans depart at dawn. Camels march beyond the city walls, fading into mist. Clay jars are sealed and stacked. Wealth piles high in the warehouses of Ashur. From Ashur to Nineveh and Erbil, cities spread like embers glowing across the plain. In the temple square, voices rise to the sky. The god Ashur is praised as eternal king. At dawn, Ashur shines golden. A civilization awakens, ready for the trials to come. But shadows fall from the north. The Mitanni rise, and Ashur's gates are forced open. Foreign overseers sit in judgment. The Assyrian council no longer rules itself. Young men watch helplessly, forbidden to bear arms. Humiliation etches into their memory. From the walls, they observe Mitanni chariots race. Archers unleash arrows farther than they had ever known. They study in silence. Armor, bows, and war become their hidden lessons. In secret, they forge bronze, build composite bows, and prepare for the day of reckoning. Fathers whisper to sons, "One day these chariots will be ours. One day the oppressors will kneel." The Mitanni collapse from within. Civil strife tears their kingdom apart. Ashur Ubalit seizes the moment. Walls are rebuilt, stone gates rise again. The city works as one. Hammers strike like war drums, families bring food, young men take up spears. Ashur Ubalit expels the Mitanni envoys. For the first time, he calls himself king of Ashur. With Egypt as an ally, Assyria steps onto the great chessboard of nations. This marks a turning point. War is no longer survival, it becomes divine mission. The sound of chisels and drums echoes. A new Ashur rises from stone and faith. The conquered had passed down their weapons. The Assyrians now wield them in defiance. Citizens gather at the gates, united. No longer merchants, but defenders of their destiny. Chariots are readied. Horses are trained for war. The age of rebellion begins. Across the Near East, whispers spread. The Lion of Assyria has awakened. The council bows before Ashur Uballit. Faith and steel fuse into a single will. Drums thunder in the night. The march toward empire begins. Ashur's streets blaze with torches. The people chant the name of their god and their king. Scribes carve tablets to record the day. History remembers the birth of a nation. Walls that once crumbled now rise higher. The city gleams like a beacon in the night. The people know, never again will they bow to another king. From this fire, the empire of Assyria is forged. The world will never be the same. Ashur Uballit calls his people to arms. A new dawn of defiance rises in Ashur. Citizens rebuild walls stone by stone. Sweat and dust mix with hope. Hammer strikes echo like war drums. The city itself beats with rebellion. Women bring bread and water to the builders. Children watch with pride in their eyes. Young men drill with spears on the walls. For the first time, they taste the strength of warriors. Bronze gates are reforged. Ashur, once broken, now stands as fortress. Ashur Uballit is crowned king of Ashur. His reign marks the birth of Assyria's destiny. The Mitanni envoys are expelled. Chains of foreign rule are shattered forever. Envoys clasp hands with Egyptians. Alliances strengthen Assyria's future. The Assyrian army marches, bronze shields gleam, spears rise like a forest. Assyrian chariots clash with Mitanni horsemen. The battlefield erupts with dust and blood. Ashur Uballit rides into battle. His spear points the way to victory. Mitanni banners burn in the night. The crowd roars as enemies crumble. Triumphant processions return to Ashur. Spoils of war announce a new power. Adad-nirari leads fresh campaigns. Assyria pushes its borders ever wider. Siege towers roll against Mitanni strongholds. Walls crumble before relentless assault. Assyrian chariots thunder across the plain. Arrows darken the sky. Cities burn, smoke rises. Conquest becomes the heartbeat of empire. Shalmaneser forces kings to kneel. Tribute flows into Ashur. Children of vassals are taken hostage. Loyalty is secured by fear. Assyrian armies sweep fertile fields. Spears, chariots, and cavalry move as one. Tukulti-Ninurta leads the charge southward. His gaze falls on Babylon. Siege engines pound Babylon's walls. Towers rise higher than stone defenses. The gates collapse in flames. Assyrian soldiers pour into the city. Temples are plundered, idols shattered. Babylon's gods bow to Assyria. The Babylonian king is dragged in chains. Tukulti-Ninurta proclaims himself master. A new capital rises. Foundations of empire are carved in stone. Palaces tower over the plains. Assyrian architects sculpt a city of power. Scribes carve clay tablets. The victories of Assyria are etched into eternity. Markets bustle under soldiers' watch. The people thrive beneath the shadow of empire. Armies return along the Tigris, their banners glowing in the sunset. At the temple, priests lay flowers at the feet of Ashur. Faith sanctifies conquest. A boy gazes up at a warrior statue. In his eyes, the future of empire burns. Assyria was reborn as an empire. Drummers beat the war rhythm. The storm of conquest gathers. Tiglath-Pileser seizes the throne. A coup marks a new era. Farmers are given shields and spears. The first professional army is born. Soldiers drill in formation. Bronze glints, discipline hardens. Horsemen gallop with bows drawn. Cavalry transforms the battlefield. Siege towers grind forward. Walls tremble before Assyrian engines. The king reforms his state. Governors are checked, provinces divided. Eunuchs keep records. A new bureaucracy ensures loyalty. Captives march into exile. Entire peoples are scattered across the empire. New roads stretch across the plains. Garrisons rise to guard every path. A map glows red. The Near East now lies in Assyrian hands. Armies march to Damascus. Spears and banners cover the horizon. City gates open. Damascus bows before Assyria's general. Phoenician emissaries offer gold and silver. Submission buys survival. Across the map, Assyria's dominion spreads. The empire becomes unstoppable. Sargon II rides into Dur-Sharrukin. A new capital rises to defy the world. Sennacherib unleashes fire upon Babylon. The city is reduced to ashes. Heads of rebels are impaled on stakes. Fear spreads faster than armies. Esarhaddon crosses into Egypt. No Near Eastern power has gone so far. Pharaohs bow in chains. The Nile itself flows under Assyrian banners. At Nineveh, treasures pour into the palaces. Gold and ivory fill the halls. Ashurbanipal inherits the throne. A warrior and scholar in equal measure. He builds the library of Nineveh. Clay tablets preserve the wisdom of ages. Yet his armies march endlessly. Elam is crushed, its king dragged in chains. Nineveh's walls are carved with scenes of conquest. Cruelty is etched in stone. Assyria stands unmatched. The empire glows at its golden peak. But beneath the brilliance lies rot. Hatred festers in conquered lands. Whispers of rebellion rise. Captives dream of vengeance by fire. Princes quarrel in Nineveh's halls. Intrigue poisons the empire from within. The Medes descend from the north. Babylon rises again in the south. An alliance is forged. Enemies once divided now march together. Ashur is stormed and burned. The sacred birthplace of empire lies in ruins. Refugees flee to Nineveh. Behind its colossal walls, the last hope remains. For 3 months, the siege rages. Arrows fall like rain. Fires consume the night. Battering rams strike again and again. Stones crash. Dust chokes the air. The walls collapse in thunder. Enemy soldiers flood into the city. Nineveh burns. Palaces blaze, temples fall, libraries turn to ash. The last Assyrian king dies sword in hand. His crown falls into the flames. Streets run red with blood. The empire of fear is drowned in its own terror. Fugitives stagger toward Haran. But even here, the lion cannot rest. Haran falls to the Babylonian-Median alliance. Assyria breathes its last. The empire vanishes from the map. Silence covers the ruins of Nineveh. Yet its legacy endures. Assyria forged the first true empire of mankind. They built roads, created postal networks, organized armies, and conquered with precision. From them, later empires learned the machinery of rule. Assyria's shadow stretched across history. But the lesson of power remains. Rule by terror invites rebellion. Hatred united their enemies. Fear became the spark of their destruction. Today, Nineveh lies buried under desert sands. Stones whisper of past glory. Among the ruins, scholars uncover fragments of tablets, voices of the past. The library of Ashurbanipal, burned but not forgotten. Knowledge survived in shards of clay. Assyria's greatness was brilliance and brutality bound together. The empire rose in fire, ruled in fear, and fell in flames. What remains is a warning. Power without compassion cannot endure. The lion of Assyria roared across the Near East, but even lions grow old. In silence, the ruins speak. Their echo chills the modern world. The empire of Assyria is gone. Its story remains etched in stone. Every fallen wall, every burned temple, is a monument to forgotten power. History remembers not the gold or the skulls, but the lessons of empire. True strength lies not in fear, but in trust. Not in cruelty, but in balance. The Assyrian Empire, brilliant, blood-stained, and gone. Its warning crosses centuries. Power without mercy brings only ruin. From Nineveh's dust, humanity still listens. History whispers its eternal truth. Every empire that rises must face its end. Assyria teaches us why. Once, they ruled the world with terror. Today, only ruins remain. The stones of Nineveh stand silent under the desert sun. Yet their silence speaks louder than words. Assyria, the first empire, the empire of fear, the eternal warning of history.